Jim Herzfeld, welcome to CNN News 18.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Thank you for talking to us. You are the writer of such big Hollywood films like Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers.
Yes,
But today we'll
I
be
did. I
talking.
also worked in television on and off for
Yes,
years
yes, yes.
on situation comedies. The only one that maybe people would know is called Married with Children, which
Yeah.
ran for many years here on Fox. Yeah,
But today we'll be talking about the ongoing strike in Hollywood by Writers Guild of America.
sure.
That started on May 2nd after 6 weeks of negotiations that failed between the Writers Guild of America and Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producer, that is an umbrella organization representing the big six studios. To start with, what is the mood right now in the writing community?
The Writers Guild, right now, there is a lot of support and enthusiasm for the strike. No one likes to strike, but we also understand that we're going to have to go through some short-term pain for some long-term gain. And we do have a history since I've been a member, certainly, but throughout the decades of having to go on strike to get what we feel we deserve for our creativity. And it always seems to be that the studios are making plenty of money. They just are very reluctant to start to share it, especially when the landscape and the technology changes.
So, the big demands of Writers Guild of America are fair compensation, better working conditions,
Yes.
increased residuals, and a
Mhm.
policy on AI generated work. So, to our
Mhm.
viewers, would you please like to explain broadly how much percentage are writers demanding and the fee structure?
Yeah, well, I couldn't give you a specific percentage that they're demanding. I know that it's not asking more than double digits. I know it's under 10% because it's really the big financial issue with this strike is that so much now of our membership works in television, or more specifically, as of the last 5 years, in streaming television. When I was first in the Writers Guild back in the 1980s, there were only the three networks that we had, which was ABC, CBS, and NBC. We would have seasons for shows on prime time, and there would typically be a 22 episode order. And if you managed to get on a writing staff and you would get paid per episode, then you could earn a very fine living. You would eventually be buying a nice house in the Hollywood Hills, and you would live the whole kind of, cliche of being a Hollywood writer and all that. And now, with so many shows that are on the streaming side, being their season is, it's almost like what the BBC used to do in England, where they would have a season would only be 6 episodes, sometimes 10 episodes. There's so many series now that just don't get a long order. They get a 6 episode order. So the studios say to, this especially the newer generation of writers who are coming up, they go, "Hey, we're putting you on the show." And somebody goes, "Yay, I'm a staff writer on a show." And they go, "We're doing 6 episodes." And they're not going to, it's not like the old days when the season started in September and we've got to have them ready by then. They're just like, and they want us to take our time, and, they're not even going to put it out there for 6 months. So we're going to hire you for 6 months for 6 episodes. So suddenly you're like, wow, that's an episode a month. Back when I used to work in television, we were doing about an episode a week, or sometimes 3 episodes a month with a week off. So we were getting much quicker turnaround. And so, now you can get someone who, let's just throw a number out. It wouldn't be crazy for a staff writer to starting out to get, let's say, $10,000 an episode. That sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if you are doing a 6 episode season, and you have to be exclusive to that show, you cannot go and work on multiple shows. You're stuck with that show, and it takes 6 months to do those 6 episodes. then you've only made $60,000. And maybe, and now it used to be they'll throw you a script. They don't even throw you a script. Maybe you're working with other writers alongside the executive producer or the showrunner or the creator, and they go, you know what? We're going to write these six. And you guys are going to be in the room with us, and you're going to help us with, breaking other episodes, but we're going to take those credits, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you're only making about the same, maybe, for doing this highly talented, very difficult to get job. You're making about the same as a guy who's delivering for Amazon and working hard and getting overtime. You're making about the same amount of money. So, and then that's not to disparage the people out there working hard for their money, but we're supposed to be an elite, talent that can bring product to the masses. That's not an easy thing to do. And back when I was doing it,
So
we
that
were being
sure.
yeah, we were being paid much, much more than this newer generation. And now I hear these younger people are having to struggle and maybe work another job somehow on the side. And it's like, wow, that sounds crazy to me.
Is that why the second demand is about better working condition and a mandatory writers room?
That is a huge part of it, is that it's called the writer's room. They have to, you know, allow a bigger staff, and to not drag out the episode, how long they work on episodes. And they also should give them scripts to write. The other thing they're not doing, which is ultimately going to bite the studios, they're not allowing the normal hierarchy where you start out as a staff writer, then you story editor, and then you're an executive story editor, then you're a co-producer, and then you're a co-executive, whatever, a supervising producer, and then a co-executive producer, and eventually you know how to run shows.
And to be on the
So
set, to be present on the set.
yeah, you learn on the set, and you're
Yeah.
constantly also learning in the room, in the offices that aren't on set, where you're learning how to hire writers, and to break a full season, and to in all of the in casting,
Yeah.
and hiring your directors, and doing the post production. That's a ton of it. And in fact, right now, that's what a showrunner or an executive producer is responsible for, on top of the writing. So it's a lot of work. And just recently, I think yesterday, I heard that the studios were pressuring the exec producers and showrunners to come and do, finish their post production and do all the non-writing parts of their job. And the Writers Guild members that are those same showrunners said, no, we're not going to go in, and no, we're not helping you to finish those shows. We're writers essentially at our core. And if we help you to get your show out, it's going to hurt our position in the strike.
The other demand by writers is for better residuals in pay. And that's very shocking, because according to a report, writers are making 23% less than what they were making 10 years ago, while the companies or the studios are making big profits.
Yes.
This is a
Yes.
demand about viewership based residual. That simply means after an X number of weeks, streamer must pay writers based on the numbers of views.
Yes. Yes. That the whole, we used to have a system back in the day, just simple Nielsen ratings, they used to call it. There used to be a box called a Nielsen box that used to be on everybody's, not everybody's, but a certain amount of people's televisions back in the day. And you would know how many people were watching your show. Now, since streaming has come up, it's the industry, the studio side has kept that like a mystery. You don't know. You don't know how many people you don't know how many more subscriptions. Maybe you had a hit show. How many more subscribers did they get because you helped them with a hit show? You don't know. So that hurts your position to bargain and go, hey, we are a cash cow for you. Why don't you pay us, the way that we would have been paid back in the day, when it was clear we were helping your studio to sell advertising time for more money, or now it's, instead of advertising time, it's to get more subscribers.
And the fourth one, which you've been very vehemently opposing, is the use of AI for the scripting purposes.
Well, you know what? Yes, this may well be a watershed moment where history will look back and go, hey, when did the creative community really first say, hey, let's take a big, pause and discuss AI, what's happening there. Let's figure it out before it gets out of hand, because the nature of AI is to not sleep, to not stop, to just constantly be evolving. And, I did an interview the other day and I said, oh, the jokes that AI writes aren't great. So I'm not, we shouldn't be too worried about that. But you know what? I that quote of mine may age badly. I don't know. No one knows. 5 years from now, maybe somehow you could go to a stand-up comedy show and there's some kind of robot and he's the funniest person in the room. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can't say it won't. Okay? Because who knows? So we do have to put in something that says you can't replace us with AI, or you certainly can't take an idea that we gave you. And, because we give studios ideas all the time in pitches. We go in and they say, what do you got? And you go, well, I got this idea. And then, and they go, yeah, we don't love that. What else you got? And you pitch something else, but maybe they go back to one of your ideas, put it through some kind of AI. It somehow fleshes it out enough that it starts to have a structure, a beginning, middle, and an end. And then, suddenly then maybe they come back and they go, hey, we have this screenplay, we don't need anybody to write it, we just need a few people to punch it up, and we only need this many writers, and we're only going to pay them this much. And then suddenly you're like, wait, that was my idea, and then now they've cobbled this together and gotten around paying people. And and then ultimately, if the product, that's what's scary, is if somehow AI figures out how to make a product, a movie, a comedy, a romantic film, an action movie that isn't horrible, then there's going to be a flood of cheap, mediocre things, probably films and television shows out there that a lot of people will just mindlessly watch anyway. Their standards will start to drop. So that's all very scary just for art in general. That's why I said I don't want to get too grandiose here, but at some point, music, art, even just video, like you can definitely get a 3D AI, paint thing that will create some kind of fabulous oil painting, and then it's a question of who wants to hang it on their wall, right? So it's all related. We all have every artist needs to be worried about what AI might do. Because AI has great, I have no problem 10 years from now, if I need an operation and someone has to go take out one of my vital organs and some kind of AI, robotic thing does that, fantastic. Thank you. You may have saved my life and you probably saved some money.
Yeah.
But the arts are a different thing. I mean, the soul and the wit, does AI have the compassion and the emotional experience to bring that to a movie or a book, novel, song, poem? I don't see it. And by the time, if we ever get to that point, then we're really in trouble, because we've really lost our soul at that point.
Are there other guilds in America that are coming in support of writers, like Directors Guild of America?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, Hollywood, Los Angeles, and is a company town. We are a showbiz town. We are an industry, a union and a guild town. We have the Writers Guild, Directors Guild, and the Producers Guild, and the Screen Actors Guild. There are grips and lighting guys and all the costumes and makeup and hair. There's tens of thousands of people in Los Angeles who are working in the industry. They're in various unions as well. We're all together in this. So for now, yes, SAG, DGA, all the IATSEs and SAG after, they're all with us, and they also have their contracts coming up. The Directors Guild and Screen Actors Guild are going to negotiate with the Alliance later this month. Sometimes the Directors Guild will go, hey, we're not, until you work it out with the writers, we're not even going to talk to you. And then sometimes the directors, because it's not apples to apples, the concerns, sometimes they will say, well, this is not as important to us, and they don't help us sometimes as much as we would hope. But they're always, it's never, no guild ever sandbags the other one. There might be, we wish they would have supported this or that more, but they're always supporting one another because that's how it has to work. I mean, it's a community that makes movies together. You can't make a movie without a director or a script or actors.
Yeah, WGA Strike is gaining momentum. Even the Screenwriter Association from India has shown solidarity with the Writers Guild of America. In fact,
Yeah,
Screenwriters Association in India has asked members to stop work on US projects. Do you see this
sure.
support from India as a sign towards a victory when even the writers from overseas are in arms and are together with their counterparts in America?
Indian writers are being asked to not work on our products. And, I do know more people in the Writers Guild that have been working on things overseas. So it's, both ways. And for sure, I guarantee you, anybody I know here in the Writers Guild America West or East that was somehow working somehow on a Bollywood project, if there were writers or any actors, directors in the Indian film industry who said we're going on strike, I guarantee you that Writers Guild members would not be scabs and would not continue to work on that. I just know it.
The last strike in 2007 went on for 100 days.
Yeah.
How long do you see this strike will last? Do you see
You
this will?
know, and the 88 one was I think 133 days. I have a feeling, and I think I'm not wrong, that because some of the studios are so well positioned with material, one of the major streamers and studios in town now is Amazon. Amazon has another way to make money that we're all aware of other than film and TV. So they're not going to be taking a big hit because they're not putting out their shows. So they're going to be folding their arms much longer than some of the other studios because they've got the money to sit and wait. Disney of course has theme parks and cruise ships and all, and now they can. There's also been peak TV a glut of content, so they're better positioned than ever to have the studios are to take the position of we're not talking to you, we're not going to, and then it becomes a strike, or if you want to call it a war of attrition. How badly do the writers and all the other people like I talked about, because the town of Los Angeles will lose a couple of $1 billion on this
Yeah.
strike. The studios are hoping that if they fold their arms and we go through this for 3 months, that they start to feel the pain. The membership starts to feel the pain, and the membership goes to the negotiators and they say, hey, these 10 things we're asking for, maybe only ask for these 6 now, because we're really starting, my kids are starting to need things, I can't buy them. So that's the game. The game is always, let's take a little wind out of their sails, or let's extract a pound of flesh, whatever metaphor you want to use, so that we can negotiate better. And that equates itself to, I think, in this case, to go back to your question, this strike's going to go 3 months, I think, but not more than 5. So whatever that is, somewhere between 90 and 150 days.
You say by September it'll be over? Do you think so?
Yeah. I mean, I'm loath to make these kinds of predictions, but the second I knew we were going on strike, I said it's going to be 3 months, and I'll stick to that. It's definitely going to be close to 3 months, and if it goes more than 5 months, it's going to get ugly.
And finally, are you hoping that studios will accept demands or
Oh,
demands
of
of
course.
Writers Guild of America?
Of course, of course. And I don't think our demands are unreasonable. Just today, the head of HBO Max, he just admitted that they were profitable, that the HBO streaming service now, which is now going to be called Max, HBO Max, was profitable a year before he thought it would be. They have a ton of money. These guys running the studios are making sometimes well over $100 million a year in salary. So here, the Writers Guild are asking for the talents that's coming up to just be paid what in Los Angeles would be a livable wage, and they're saying no. So it's very difficult at this point to not see a very greedy corporate side beating up on the, up and coming storytellers who want to entertain and create one of our country's greatest exports. So it's very David and Goliath, I think, right now. We're not asking for crazy things. We're asking for some dignity. We're asking for better working conditions. They have to acknowledge that the streaming and everything and seasons and episode orders and everything is the writer's room is changed, not for the better, but they have to figure out a way to, and they have the money, they have it, they just have to decide not to be so greedy. They could easily pay us what we're asking and it would not tank their company or hurt their ability to continue to grow. They just don't want to do it right now. They want to beat us up so that we drop some of our demands.
We really hope writers have a happy ending to this strike. Thank you so much for your time and best of luck.
Thank you.